Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today's show is the Natural Healing Institute. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today's show is the Natural Healing Institute, and we have with us the co-founder and owner herself, Dr. Kafera Jasal. Good morning, Dr. Kafera Jasal. How are you?
Good morning. Wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Now, I know that name is a long, nice, and beautiful name, but you like to be known as Dr. K.
Dr. K.
Okay. Dr. K, we'll start with that.
All
Now,
right.
Dr. K, this is a very unique show for us today in reference to we are all starting to be more health conscious and want to take better care of ourselves. Tell us a little bit about the Natural Healing Institute and your background.
Well, the Natural Healing Institute was born out of our need, our passion to assist the community in health and learning about nutrition and proper body maintenance. I have a doctorate in natural health science. I also have a doctorate in divinity. I am a massage therapist. I do Reiki, colon cleansing, painless childbirth. I'm hypnotherapist. And out of hypnotherapy, I developed a television program where I do relaxation, meditation, and painless childbirth.
Okay, all right. So the Institute itself has a array and assortment of services that you guys provide.
Yes, many services that
Okay.
support the body, the mind, and the spirit.
Okay. Now, you know, in the natural sense, a lot of people are trying to get back to what they call natural healing or natural health care. What is your ideal of starting off as a person getting into it?
Okay, well, the first thing is to educate yourself. Get as much information as you can so that you know that you know that you know. And there are ways that I illustrate how the body has its own wisdom. Every person is a unique individual. So a person's biography becomes their biology. So every person that comes to us gets one-on-one care, and we actually go over their history and find out what their particular goals are. So everybody's goals are different. But we go back to the way that we originally ate and the sleeping patterns, taking a more stressless time during the day, taking pauses during the day, and going back to drinking water, eating whole foods, because there's too much processed food that people are ingesting. And what I say is that processed food produces processed people. So a lot of the behavior that children are exhibiting, a lot of the stress, a lot of the dis-ease, if you will, is directly related to people eating chemicalized cuisine, them eating more of man's food than God's food. So what we do is we take it back to nature. So
Okay.
that's where we started, and that's where we're going to have to get
And you
back
know
to.
what, with Mrs. Obama going into the actual process of helping people see that is taking place in the White House is beautiful. I mean, you know, she had a garden in the house, and actually they ate from the garden. That was, to me, was one of the very unique and first signs of the First Lady taking charge of what other First Ladies didn't even think about, which is better health care in a sense of showing people we do it here still to help you get started out in the real world.
Right, yes, because we're going to have to start taking control of our health. We've given our health over to other people, and we've got to be responsible for how we eat, how we drink, what we drink, and how we think.
I know, you know, we didn't want to call any names out when we say processed food, but I noticed that a lot of the younger generation parenting, especially the moms, will buy the children French fries and a hamburger from a fast food immediately to control the irate, behavior in the car and stuff. Well, we know I got to give them something to eat. Instead of making something at home and carrying it in the car or preparing meals at home, period. Is it that we've gotten away from home ec classes in school, as well as these generation of parenting are not prepared to cook or don't know how?
Well, that's part of what I incorporate in the practice, is that I teach people who don't know how to cook. And what has happened is that, this is a fast food society and a microwave mentality, and everybody wants things really quick. And what I teach people is how you can prepare healthy meals, and it doesn't really have to take that long, because in cooking food, if you cook it too long, it loses all its nutrients anyway. But you mentioned about French fries. They don't even have French fries on the list or the menu anymore. It just says fries. And that's because the majority of them are not real potatoes. And most people know that, or if they think about it, if you drop a fry in the car, it can stay there for 6 months and never change. And there are movies that we suggest that people see so that they can see that the fry is just one molecule away from plastic.
Wow.
So it never breaks down.
Well, after that note, a lot of people will may think about eating the French fries, just fries.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of the processed food that, even with the word processed, have some type of chemical in it that makes it last longer than the norm if it was not a chemically processed food item.
Right, because
Okay.
I can remember jelly getting moldy in the refrigerator. Now, bread doesn't mold, milk doesn't spoil, the jelly can stay in there for 2 or 3 years, and it's the preservatives that they're using that keeps it stable and it has a longer shelf life. But in the meantime, it's detrimental to people's health.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to come back with some more helpful food tips, as well as some things that you guys need to see if you're planning on, taking in control this year and making sure that you're in better health. We'll be right back.
America's greatness was not crafted in skyscrapers alone, but on the ground by those who could see what needed to be done. Volunteers who in service stepped forward onto the dust of the moon, a levee in the heartland, the marble steps of a dream. You may ask yourself, where's my moon, my levee, my dream? Well, it's here, with you. Step forward. Help renew America at usaservice.org.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. For those of you who are just now joining us, we're here with the Natural Healing Institute with Dr. Kafera Jasal, better known as Dr. K, okay? Because that's a beautiful name, it's just long. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. A lot of you are more natural healing people at home. Instead of going to the doctor, instead of going to the dentist and places like that, you want to know, what can you do at home? Well, we're going to touch on some things that you can do for yourself, but I didn't say don't go to the doctor. I didn't say that. I still believe that there's a combination of balance between going to a physician and double checking yourself out or securing your thoughts of what you're doing, as well as doing more natural things to also eliminate waste, make yourself feel better, cut down on the headaches, and also it helps your appearance. It changes you a lot when you start to take better care of yourself. So we're going to ask Dr. K for some more tips on what you can do at home to start to prepare yourself for a better you, okay? All right, so Dr. K, a lot of people are at home and they may be homebound, or they may just say, you know what, I have a fear of going to the man or the woman in the white coat, okay? What are some of the things that are in the more natural healing component that people can do or start with?
Okay, well, there are some tips that I can give your audience. Number 1 is to set your goals. Number 2, enroll somebody in that conversation. So don't just set goals. Make sure that you tell someone that will hold you accountable for the goals that you've set. The major component, most people are chronically dehydrated. So make sure that you're drinking plenty of purified water. And the reason why I said purified or filtered water is either you drink purified or filtered water, or you become a filter for the water that you're drinking. So a lot of the water that's coming through now has a lot of chlorine. That's why it's bleaching out the clothes. And so we want to make sure we drink plenty of purified water. Another tip is to exercise. Now, you don't have to have a membership to a gym. Even if you walk up and down the stairs, or you walk around the block, or you go to the mall and you walk, walking is the best exercise. So that's something that you don't have to have out-of-pocket expense. Consuming more whole foods. Once you go into the store and you go to the produce section, that's where the real food is. And then when you go out of the produce section and you go up the other aisles where there's a lot of cans and bags and boxes, that's processed. So you want to concentrate what you're eating on whole foods and then put the other foods around it.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be organic.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be organic. It should be local if possible. Organic is better simply because they cannot use pesticides and sprays. A lot of the food now is cosmetically appealing. Okay, I can remember growing up that, apples were misshapen and, the cucumbers were misshapen. Now they all look alike. And a lot of them are genetically modified. So I don't need my food to look good and, posing on the shelf. But we need to get as much organic food as possible. As a matter of fact, what I would suggest is that people purchase organic and then purchase the other conventional food, and then see how their body responds, because your body will let you know how it tastes, what it feels like inside of your body, and then you can make the determining factor.
Well, organic, I have tried organic myself on several occasions, and it's really expensive, and I know at some point, when it's about you, there is no high price to pay. So a lot of people just can't afford it, though. I mean, we have a economy that's going through a crunch. So I'm asking, for the event that someone can't afford the organic groceries because they do know it's better for them, would just the natural homegrown or vegetable and produce department serve the same purpose?
That would be great. And the thing about it is that I notice is that when you eat organic, you eat less. So people are looking at the price, but I have an article that I had written called Designer Clothes and Bootleg Food. We've got to set our priorities because we'll purchase $100 gym shoes and then look for a real cheap burger. So we have to create a balance, but there are farmers markets where we can go, and then if you do a cooperative and buy bushels, and then there's ways that people can manage if they really want to manage.
All right.
Yes.
And then, that's helpful, because a lot of people will say, oh, no, I can't afford that to eat. And you're right. If we are into designer wear, from the glasses to the shoes to the jeans to the gym shoes, I'm sure you could eat that same amount of money and enjoy it and last longer if you consume it right.
Right.
Oh, okay, okay. I know you have a demonstration that you were talking about when we were off camera that you might want to do. So is it
Yes.
something that you want to give us an insight on?
Yes. It's called kinesiology or contact reflex analysis or muscle testing. So any three of those terms actually describes the process. And what I tell people is that your body has a wisdom. When you cut yourself, you don't have to tell your body to heal or to create a scab. So your body has a wisdom of its own. And when we tap into our own body's wisdom and work along with it, we create a balance. So what I do is show people what gives their body energy and what takes it away. So kinesiology will be an excellent demonstration so I can actually show your audience how it works.
Okay, we have a young lady from our audience that we're going to ask can come up and do this demonstrating with us. Okay.
Okay.
And how are you?
Fine.
Okay, okay. Do you need my help or anything, Dr. Gay?
Oh, no, we're good. Okay, what I would like for you to do is to raise your arm, your right hand or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, all right, great, okay. So what I'm gonna do first is to test your strength. Okay. Okay, don't let me resist me. Good, that's great, okay. Okay, now what I'd like for you to do is take this and I want you to put it right up against your body.
Okay.
Okay, and what I'd like for you to do is resist me. Okay? Okay. All right, let me take
Now, that was a
this.
piece of candy.
This was a piece of candy.
Okay.
Okay, now let's do whole food. Put it right up against your body.
Okay.
Okay, and resist me. You notice the difference?
That was a vegetable.
Yes,
okay.
vegetable.
Okay.
Okay, let's get what, I'm not going to show the name, but let's use a power bar, because a lot of times people say, oh, I need something quick and fast, and, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I want you to resist me.
So power bar is just power, but obviously not nutrition.
Not enough power in the bar.
Okay, not enough.
Now, what happens a lot of times, it has high fructose and some other things, even though it might have nuts and grains and things, but the preservatives and all of that, or maybe some sweeteners may
Okay.
take away.
Okay.
Okay, and let's,
Regular potato.
regular potato.
Okay.
That one is organic.
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to resist me.
Okay.
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 All
Now,
right.
is it mind over matter that she's, or is it the body actually knows?
The body actually knows what's good for it.
Okay.
So we test even with children, because people will say, well, how many vitamins do I need to take? We can actually ask the body
Okay.
how many vitamins. And for those who, like say for instance, if it's an elder person that maybe has some injury or something like that, we can actually use a surrogate and test the surrogate for the person. So this kinesiology and muscle testing and all of that has been tried and true. Yes. Okay, and one more. And this is something that people use on a daily basis. I'm not going to show the name of this.
Okay.
Okay. Toothpaste.
I said, oh, God, I said it's actually toothpaste. Okay.
Yes, it's toothpaste. Okay, and resist.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay. Now, I'm kind of, devastated on that because there's a lot of things that, well, I ate the candy. Okay, but the carrot and the potato itself, the body knows that that's what we desire, even though we don't crave it.
Right.
Okay. All right. But when you're craving sugar and stuff like that, I mean, because to me, what that showed was a sign of weakness when you're craving sugar, or that by the step that you just showed us, it shows weakness.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, what it is that those things that are good for your body will strengthen you. The things that are not good for your body, and it's not actually food, because see, your body knows what's food and what's not, and anything the body can't assimilate, it can't eliminate. So it's going to be weakened by that process.
Okay.
So that's the way that works.
And I remember that those terms: assimilate,
Assimilate
and eliminate.
and eliminate.
You got that, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. So assimilate is the taking in part.
Right, and use.
And eliminate, you know that part. Okay.
Okay.
So we should get to the point when and not that we have to be so mind over matter, but we should know that what we take in should come back out.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Because I know red meat stays with the body 7 days. Something
Yes,
of that
usually
nature?
7 days, and it
Okay.
takes about 12 to 15 hours to process.
Okay. Okay. And the body is kind of sluggish, kind of tired. So and I noticed that when men eat steak, and not to make it sound bad, but men eat steak, they get so tired and they rub their stomachs. That's not a good sign then.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not.
Okay. Even though you're full physically, but you think that, oh man, I'm full, and you rub your stomach, that's not.
No.
Okay.
Actually, people concentrate on the amount of food that they eat, and your body only uses nutrition on a cellular level. So theoretically, someone can be 300, 350 pounds and be suffering from malnutrition because they're not getting the nutrients to their cells. And I tell people that I want them to use the term that they're overweight, which makes them overweight. So people, I do the colon cleansing, by mouth. Okay, so it's the DEP formula that we use that detoxifies your body, increases the amount of waste you eliminate, and killing parasites. But what it is with elimination is that we're consuming more and eliminating less. So for every meal that you consume, you need to eliminate. So people say, well, how does that really work? as far as eliminating waste and weight and how does that work. So if you think about a Hefty bag, when you pull it out of the box, it's flat. And then when you start putting garbage and trash in, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you take your hand and take everything out, it'll go back flat again. So when you eliminate the waste, you eliminate the weight. So it's no longer a crowded experience within your body. So we need to remember that the inside creates the outside. So we need to take better care of the inside to create a better outside.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the last half of our breaks, but remember what she just said. I mean, I'm going to, have that for you when I come back, and it was a mouthful, but it was meaningful. So we'll be right back.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? If you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, for those of you who are just not tuning in, I want to give you a little brief information here. What you're about to see may be a little disturbing to your eyesight or stomach. So if you're not prepared, please step away from your screen and come back to us. Or if you're a good candidate to want to know more about your insides, have a seat and watch this piece right here with Dr. K. Now this is true. So what we're dealing with right now is to give you heads up on what's going on internally with you as you eat, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're in the future plans of better taking care of yourself or saying I want a healthier lifestyle, take a look at this. So Dr. K, what do we have here?
Well, what we have here are various parasites. I've never worked with anyone that did not have parasites, and it's almost impossible not to have them. And a lot of times people, when they go to the restroom and they pass their stool, they may think it's mucus or spaghetti on their stool, but actually what they're doing is passing parasites. Women, typically, if they feel movement and fluttering and they know they're not pregnant, parasites moving, okay? One female parasite can lay 10,000 or more parasites a day. It only takes 3 days for them to hatch, and so we can do the multiplication there. This is heartworms.
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 Okay.
So people are transferring parasites from animals to themselves and their children.
So if a person, now heartworms are brought in by what, meat?
Well, particularly meat. A lot of the parasites may be in water, maybe unpurified, ice, handshakes. There's a lot of different ways that we can pick up parasites, and when meat is not cleaned properly, then you get parasites. But anything that's dead and starts breaking down, that's the decomposition process, so that there is bacteria and there are parasites. Okay, and travel a lot of times. And then we also have, and most people are familiar with tapeworms. Okay, they've heard, about tapeworms. Oh, you're eating so much and you must have a tapeworm. A tapeworm in and of itself can get to be 30 feet long, but with the steroids and hormones that's been added to the food, we're finding that the parasites, the tapeworms, can get to be 60 feet or longer.
So the term tapeworm is not a good term. It's really a bad term.
It's a bad term. And parasites can either make you gain a lot of weight or make you lose a lot of weight. And what we need to know is that anything that eats and feeds on what you're eating or what's in the waste in your system, then they're urinating and defecating, which is making your body even more toxic. So women say, well, I'm eating for 2 when they're pregnant. Well, what happens when you're eating for millions? So that's what we're working with when we've got parasites. So we need to eliminate those out of our system.
I want to ask you somewhat of a personal question. Your eating habits, are you a vegetarian? Or?
Well, I went from vegetarian to vegan,
Vegan,
and the difference between the two is vegetarians may eat fish or chicken, which those are not vegetables, but fish or chicken or cheese or dairy. I don't eat anything animal or animal byproduct.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
Yes.
all right. We have some of your items here that we want to talk about briefly before we wrap up. Now, I got a little queasy a moment ago, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what? I eat meat and everything, so I'm a part of the group here, okay? But for a better me, I want to do some things to make myself feel better, feel lighter. Most of us are concerned about weight. Sure, you're concerned about weight, but you really should be concerned about the insides being taken care of so that the outside will start to look better. But don't focus in so much on I got to go to the gym, I got to work out. focus in on what's going to make your heart healthy, mind free, and you know, arthritis less, and things of that nature to make yourself feel better. And learning how to eat properly, to me, is one of the key things. So if I start to look even more attractive to you as we go into the season, it's because I'm on a roll. Okay, so we move around along. We had to do that. Okay, we have a nice book here from you, Vegetarian Soul Food. Oh, this looks good too.
Thank
okay,
you.
now, if under the vegan lifestyle, is any of this stuff? These are things you make or suggest that we eat?
And I teach my clients how to prepare what they're familiar with, like lean greens, macaroni no wheeze, different salads, but there are a lot of products available. When I first became vegetarian, there weren't that many products available, but they've got products that taste like meatballs, sausage, burgers, hot dogs, riblets, you know, all types, and it tastes exactly like what they're used to eating.
So we have to have you
Owners-
come back and do a cooking segment.
Yes,
Okay,
I would
because when
love
you
to.
see cornbread, you think of wheat. Okay, so we could actually make stuff without all the additives and preservatives that we normally have.
Right.
And this cookbook is a guide for that.
Yes, it is.
Hot water cornbread, you know, that's one of my favorites. Okay, and this product right here, the Ultra Body Toddy. What is
Yes.
Ultra Body Toddy?
The Ultra Body Toddy is a complete nutritional supplement, and it's plant minerals. And what it does, it actually feeds the body on a cellular level. When you take anything in that's liquid, it doesn't have to go through the digestive process, and that is the primary supplement that I use on a daily basis, along with my juicing. But that actually contributes to the body on a level where we're not getting the vitamin D and the zinc and a lot of different.
We have to do another show
Yes.
on juicing, because juicing is the phenomenal thing in the years to come, and a lot of people are getting into it. And some people look at it as like weight management, but I look at it like when I juice, I have so much energy. I mean, I could juice carrot juice, my favorite,
Yes.
32-ounce jar of carrot juice, and I might drink 16-ounce glass of it in first thing in the morning. And when I go in the office, I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and everybody like, what's wrong with her? So they don't realize that, you know, when I juice, especially if you drink the juice the same day,
Yes.
you know, you got all the nutrients in it that first glass. If you let it settle, it starts to break down a little bit.
Yes, it loses the
So I'm a
enzymes.
carrot juice drinker. And this bottle right here, the DPE.
The
What is
DEP. The DEP stands for Detoxifier Eliminator and Parasite Formula. So it's actually 3 formulas in one, so you don't have to take like 3 different bottles of things. So it detoxifies your body, increases the amount of waste you eliminate. So the amount of food that you see on your plate, you ought to see that much coming out the other end. Most people don't. And to get rid of the parasites. You need to get rid of those.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. So, you know, for our health conscious individuals, you know, you need to do some things. I would suggest if you want to talk to Dr. K, give us a call at the studio, 248-988-0250. Drop your questions on our email, or just send us something in the mail at our address that you'll see at the end of the show. And we didn't get a chance to touch on it, but we do want to tell you that there's also the birthing method where people, you can have someone assist you in a birthing at home birth, right?
Yes, a painless childbirth.
Painless childbirth. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to wrap up, but who am I? I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. I want to thank you, Dr. K, for coming out to see us this morning.
Thank you for
Please
having
come
me.
back and join us again.
I will.
Okay. If you have any questions, you know who I am. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask, and what do I always say? If you know someone with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.